So, picture this. The zombie apocalypse kicks off, and everybody is losing their minds. Everybody except our guy, that is. Why is he so chill? Because for him, this is basically a rerun. See, my man got turned into a zombie chew toy in his last life. But he hit the respawn button and came back with all the trauma, all the memories, and the most hilariously down bad cheat code in history, the simp system. And his special ability? A 1 million cubic meter pocket dimension with recruitment rules straight out of a dating app. He can only add awesome ladies with actual, useful jobs. No talentless, clout-chasing influencers allowed, you know the type. And every time he adds someone to the squad, boom. His storage and his personal stats literally double. We're talking infinite loot, infinite power. So while all the other survivors are desperately trying not to get eaten, he's out there running a supermarket sweep, draining gas stations, and cleaning out pharmacies like it's a post-apocalyptic Black Friday sale. He's stacking up food, weapons, and medicine, basically building his own personal Costco Deluxe inside that magic pocket of his. But, of course, there's always a catch. Things aren't going exactly according to plan. His trip back in time kind of scrambled the timeline. The zombies are leveling up way faster, and the so-called safe zones are getting overrun way ahead of schedule. The world he came back to is playing on hard mode now. The story starts with some boring news reports showing grainy clips of people going wild in Africa from some gnarly virus, and the whole world is just kinda like, hey, sounds like a them problem. Science will handle it. But for our poor dude, Xiao Yu, that boring news flash was a massive trigger. And bam, the guy gets hit with the ultimate flashback, a full-blown, high-definition memory download from his past life, where he already lived through this whole zombie nightmare once before. He totally bought the farm in that mess, and now he's been reborn as his old self, just some random warehouse worker in S City. And here's the real kicker. He knows with 100% certainty that this T-virus isn't staying in Africa. The first huge outbreak is set to pop off right in his city. Today. That gives our boy exactly 10 days until the world officially goes to hell. His first thought is, alright, I'm just gonna find an island and vibe. But then he remembers from round 1 that these are not your grandpa's slow-moving zombies. These things evolve. They learn how to swim, climb, and even dig their way to you. There is absolutely no safe place. So, just as he's about to have a full-blown panic attack, thinking this whole rebirth thing is just the universe playing a sick joke to make him suffer twice, a blinding light saves the day. A slick, holographic system interface just pops into view. It's called the Goddess Squad system. Yeah, sounds like a cheap mobile game, I know, but the mission is dead serious. Activate it by taking out a single zombie. So, our man Xiao Yu gets a grip. He taps into that perfect future memory of his and remembers that at high noon, 2 guys at the local supermarket are about to become patient zero for the whole city. This ain't a practice run. He doesn't have a shotgun or a cool katana. He just smashes the glass on an emergency fire safety box and grabs an axe. He hustles back to the warehouse, and right on schedule, his overweight manager starts convulsing. The guy's skin turns ghost white, and his eyes get as red as a baboon's backside. And this brand new zombie immediately lunges at a terrified coworker, a girl named Sao Ran, who's screaming her head off. But our boy doesn't freeze. He swings that axe like his life literally depends on it. And what do you know? It works. Bam. He just turns that zombie's head into modern art with one clean shot. The walker hits the floor. Dead silence. And then, the sweetest sound he's ever heard. A classic video game chime. Ding. System activated. 1 zombie. Deleted. The Goddess Squad is officially online. And while Xiao Yu is having a full-on ugly cry of relief, the system drops the terms and conditions, and let me tell you, they are wild. To level up, he has to recruit gorgeous, career-oriented women. We're talking professional ladies, not just influencers with a premium subscription. And get this, each recruit gives him a special power based on her job. It's basically the most bonkers HR recruiting strategy for the end of the world. Absolutely unhinged, and I am here for it. But hey, Xiao Yu isn't complaining. He knows a broken game mechanic when he sees one, and he is ready to exploit this glitch. Without missing a beat, he grabs Xiaowen's hand and recruits her right then and there. A slick digital profile for Xiaowen pops up. Rating, a solid 95. Dang, girl. The contract is sealed. A massive wave of power hits him, literally doubling his physical strength just like that. So what's the first power they unlock? Super speed? Laser eyes? Nah, dude. He gets 1 million cubic meters of infinite storage space. My man is basically a walking Amazon warehouse now. Our boy Xiao Yu just went from 0 to hero in record time. He's staring at the system screen with the same look as a guy who just hit the Powerball jackpot. And let's be real, he kinda did. His first recruit, this girl Xiaowen he just saved, came with a bonus that is a straight-up cheat code, a personal pocket dimension. We're talking a storage unit so massive it could fit your entire subdivision and still have room for your mom's minivan. And thanks to a sweet skill-sharing perk, their combined space is a mind-blowing 2 million cubic meters. My guy went from how do I survive the next 5 minutes to how much of this city can I stuff in my pocket in 5 seconds flat. For the first time since he got yeeted back to this zombie-infested nightmare, our man finally sees a future that doesn't involve being a walker's lunch. His eyes just glaze over with pure, unfiltered greed as he scans the actual warehouse they're in. The shelves are stacked to the ceiling with food, supplies, clothes, medicine, all the good stuff. And a single, beautiful thought forms in his mind. It's all mine. He's so deep in his Loot Goblin fantasy that Xiaowen's shaky voice has to snap him back to reality. She's, thanking him for saving her from becoming a face-chew toy. With all the dramatic flair of a superhero, he officially welcomes her as member number 2 of the Goddess Squad and hooks her up with that sweet, double-strength power-up. But then, her face just falls. A big red system warning pops up that only she can see, and it's not playing games. If the leader, Xiao Yu, dies or gives you the boot, you lose all your powers. Sucks to be you. The fine print always gets ya. Our guy is a little surprised she can see the system's fine print, but he doesn't beat around the bush. He tells her straight up, "Yep, I'm the source of that power. Our fates are literally tied together now, so don't mess this up." Then, in a brilliant trust-building move, he goes full open kimono. He shows her the entire system interface on his end, the stats, the bonuses, and her own ridiculously huge storage ability. You can see the fear in her eyes starting to get replaced by some serious awe, but she's still held back by that pesky little thing called a conscience. So, she's kinda getting cold feet when he lays out his grand, 5-finger discount plan. Let's loot this entire warehouse, like, right now. So, he just hits her with the unfiltered truth. He's like, the apocalypse isn't on its way, pal. It's here. In just a few hours, money's gonna be less useful than toilet paper. And this company you're so dedicated to, it's about to be a ghost town. The people who don't start prepping now, they're the ones who are gonna check out with a boatload of regrets. And right on cue, the universe chimes in with the perfect background noise, a fresh round of screaming, glass breaking, and some seriously unhuman snarling from the supermarket just outside. That theoretical horror movie just became their reality TV show. That was all the convincing she needed. Xiaowen's expression shifts from pure panic to total resolve. She looks him right in the eye and says, "Okay, I'm in." And just like that, the partnership is official. It is go time. First on the agenda, Sayu goes full Hulk smash on the security cameras with his trusty, slightly beat-up fire extinguisher. Can't have any digital witnesses. Second step, the grand prize. He puts his hand on a huge pallet of canned peaches, concentrates, and poof, the whole multi-ton stack just vanishes into their little pocket dimension. Outside, the city is turning into an all-you-can-eat buffet for zombies. But in here, it's basically Black Friday, but for doomsday preppers. The king and his newly recruited goddess are officially in business. The looting spree has officially begun. Our new power couple is going absolutely wild in this warehouse. Xiaowen is waving her hands around like she's casting spells at Hogwarts, and entire aisles of food are just disappearing, straight into their personal storage space. A job that used to take a forklift and a crew of 3 guys a full day, she's doing it with a little flick of her wrist. The girl is on a major power trip, and hey, can you really blame her? Soyu is playing team captain, calling out all the high-value targets like a seasoned pro. Forget the bougie stuff. I want instant noodles, the beef jerky, all the high-calorie junk food that's going to keep us running. They strip the snack aisle cleaner than a Costco on a Saturday, leaving nothing but empty shelves and a few stray crumbs. But there's always a catch, right? Using this awesome cheat code of a power totally drains their mental stamina. A serious wave of exhaustion starts to set in. But our guy, with his 2 to 100 IQ and knowledge of the future, pivots on a dime. Okay, new plan. We're switching to the dense stuff. Salt. We need every single grain of salt, because in this new world, salt is about to be worth more than your crypto portfolio ever was. Then Xiaowen has a total galaxy brain idea. Instead of grabbing things one by one, she just yoinks the entire shelf, the whole 20-foot-long metal rack, and everything on it, just vanishes in one go. She literally just found the Control+A button for reality. Soyu's jaw just about hits the concrete floor. Then this huge, maniacal grin spreads across his face. This is a game changer. They can clear this entire place out in a matter of minutes, not hours. Their grind just got a massive XP boost. All that fear is gone, completely replaced by the pure, uncut adrenaline rush of becoming the greatest loot goblins in history. They go on an absolute tear. Spices, grains, cooking oil, they even grab the top-shelf liquor and smokes. Absolutely nothing is off limits. The warehouse is now just a big, empty, echoing box. They're drenched in sweat, panting from the mental effort, but they are absolutely crushing it. Then our guy pries open the door to the walk-in freezer. A massive cloud of icy fog rolls out. And what does this absolute legend do? He tells her to hold up so their sweat can dry first. Whoa, let's take a beat or we're gonna end up as human ice pops. Seriously, even when the world's ending, this dude is all about the practical stuff. Xiao Ran is just staring at him, totally impressed. And in that frosty silence, she pops the big question. You're really taking me with you, aren't you? And he doesn't give her some cheesy, dramatic speech. He just hits her with his confident, almost playful vibe. You're my first ever contracted partner. You're pretty much stuck with me now. That was all the confirmation she needed. Loyalty level, maxed out. They gear up and completely empty the entire freezer. We're talking sides of beef, frozen veggies, all the seafood gone. Then, the mall's intercom system sputters to life. Evacuate immediately. Stay away from the second floor. And just like that, it's total chaos. Absolute, unfiltered panic. People are screaming, shoving, literally trampling each other to escape. So what does our main man do? He just looks at Xiao Ran and says, stick with me. We're heading to the second floor. While everyone else is running from the zombies like headless chickens, Xiao Yu is walking right into the fire. See, he's got the inside scoop. Right now, there are only 2 of those things. And the virus isn't airborne yet. This isn't the full-blown apocalypse. This is basically a limited-time opportunity. He shields her with his body, cutting a path straight through the tidal wave of screaming newbies. Her hands are clenched onto the back of his jacket like her life depends on it. The whole mall is a disaster zone, a beautiful symphony of screams, folks getting stepped on, and one zombie having a potluck with some poor guy. It's a rookie's worst nightmare. But our guy, Xiao Yu, he's not scared. He's strategizing. While everyone else sees a monster, he sees the perfect diversion. A golden opportunity to bounce. He grabs Xiao Ran and yanks her into a side hallway. We don't have to fight this one, he whispers, super calm. The police will deal with it. It's not spreading through the air yet. Our only mission right now is to grab the goods. They make a break for the fire escape, but it's a total noob trap, completely jammed with a terrified crowd, all shoving against a door that's locked tight. It's a dead end. So, what's his next big brain move? He adapts. He leads her to a balcony that looks down over a delivery area 1 floor below. And without so much as a hey, watch this, my man just vaults over the railing and lands like he just jumped off a single step. His system buff body makes it look like nothing. He looks back up at Xiao Ran. Jump, I've got you. She trusts him, takes the leap, and he catches her as if she weighs nothing at all. For just a split second, everything else fades away. He's kinda surprised at how light she is and, gotta say, how nice it feels. She's blushing like crazy, stuttering out a thank you. Bros, did we just witness a spark? Maybe, but there's zero time for that now. Police sirens are blaring in the distance. The whole city is going into lockdown mode. We have to go, he says. All business. Once they seal off the city, we're trapped. Their next stop is the Lianhua supermarket warehouse, but by the time they get there, the place has already been hit pretty hard. Xiao Ran lets out a sigh. It's been cleared out. Our guy doesn't even blink. This is nothing. The main stash is in the suburbs, he says, but then a police convoy rolls up on them. A cop on a bullhorn is yelling for them to get off the streets. Xiao Ran starts to freak out a little. Should we try a different store? Xiao Yu just shakes his head. Nah, the military is starting to deploy. Moving around in daylight is a waste of time. We'll lay low for now and make our move tonight. Man, this guy's focus is just on another level. Xiaoan, bless her heart, is still in tutorial mode and suggests heading back to her own apartment. He shuts that down real quick. Nope, you're staying with me. He lays it out. The city's about to go into total lockdown. If you leave now, you're not getting back out. You'll be trapped. So she asks, okay, what's the game plan? His answer, the outskirts. Way fewer people. It's much easier to dip out when things really hit the fan. You can practically see the light bulb go on over her head. The Jinu Hotel, the one on that man-made island in the southern lake. Xiaoyu gives a little smirk. Now you're talking. There's only one bridge to get there, and it's guaranteed to be guarded. But the lake is huge. At night, he says, we'll take a boat across. You gotta love a guy with a backup plan. Let's roll. While they're hustling through the dying city before the buses stop running, the suits up in City Hall are just now realizing how royally screwed they are. The reports are flooding in. Over 100 biting cases and hundreds dead in just 2 hours. The entire police system has collapsed. They finally admit the virus has mutated. The order comes down from the top, full lockdown. Nobody gets in, nobody gets out. Soldiers are on the move. The city is officially a cage now. But our 2 main characters, they've already ghosted the scene, slipping toward the edge of the city. For everyone else, this is basically the end of the world. But for Xiao Yu, The hunt is just getting started. Now, while our power couple is making their big brain move to the suburbs, let's check in on the absolute circus happening just down the road. Allow me to introduce this spoiled rich kid named Charlie from Samland, flooring it in his obnoxiously expensive car. He's completely wasted, acting like the zombie apocalypse is his own personal VIP party. His poor secretary is riding shotgun, holding on for dear life, watching her phone blow up with alerts about biting incidents and the citywide lockdown. She's begging this fool to turn around and go back to the city center. But Charlie just smirks and brushes her off. He's too busy bragging about some shady stuff he smuggled into the country, just soaking up the chaos. And then, things get real. Homeboy starts scratching his arm like he's got a nasty case of poison ivy. Spoiler alert, it's not a rash. Dark, spiderweb-like veins start crawling up his skin. His own nails are tearing his flesh open. His eyes glaze over with that milky white color we all know and dread. The smug rich kid has officially left the building, replaced by a full-blown, slobbering zombie. The secretary doesn't need to be told twice. She yeets herself out of the car, kicks off her heels, and just books it barefoot on the rough asphalt. But of course, in a classic horror movie move, she eats pavement and twists her ankle. Yeah, she's toast. Just as Zombie Charlie is about to make her an appetizer, she spots two legends on a borrowed scooter. It's Xiao Yu and Yao Ran. She screams for help. Our boy Xiao Yu doesn't even blink. He tells Yao Ran to stay back and snags a metal axe from the side of the road. And he just charges right in. He moves like a blur with that enhanced speed of his and gets right between the monster and the girl. But here's the plot twist. As Xiao Yu squares up with this thing, his brain, with all its future knowledge, is screaming at him. This isn't right. The T-virus isn't supposed to make people this fast or this violent this early on. The timeline is already seriously messed up, but there's no time to dwell on it. He circles the growling freak, and with one clean, brutal swing, he sends its head flying. The head rolls to a perfect stop right at the secretary's feet. Talk about an awkward introduction. Talk about a free loot drop. The immediate threat is down for the count, but our guy isn't popping the champagne just yet. He's analyzing the remains like a full-on forensic scientist. His memory from his past life is screaming that this level of nasty infection wasn't supposed to drop for another 5 days. The only possible explanation is that his very presence, his whole coming back thing, is already messing with the game's code. The butterfly effect is no joke, and it just cranked the apocalypse difficulty up to nightmare mode. His future cheat sheet is pretty much getting shredded. Meanwhile, Sao Ran is playing medic for the rescued secretary, Han Kexen. The woman is trembling, thanking them for literally saving her skin. Xiao Yu, cool as a cucumber, just brushes it off. But then he gets a proper look at her. We're talking delicate features, total grace, smart eyes. And his system brain immediately goes, okay, high-value target. This is prime goddess squad material right here. He cuts right to it. What's your job? He asks. A secretary. Internally, our man is doing victory laps. A secretary. Perfect. He tells her he needs to touch her hand for something important. She's confused, but hey, she rolls with it. The second he does, bingo, the system lights up. A blue interface pops up. Name, Han Kexen. Profession, female secretary. Overall score, 96. Another day, another win. The squad gets a new member, and our boy gets his stats doubled again. That's a 4 times multiplier from his base stats, people. He's turning into a demigod. The new skill he gets is just broken. Psychic Charm, level 1. He can basically mind control people. His mind is already racing with the possibilities. No more worrying about barricades or dudes with guns. He can just make them let him pass. This is a complete game changer. Han Kexen, already back in business mode, calls him captain and promises to cooperate completely. What an absolute legend. With police sirens wailing in the background, sealing off the city, Xiao Yu decides it's time to find that hotel. And here's the kicker. Han Kexen reveals that the zombie she was with, some guy named Charlie, had booked the presidential suite at the Jinhu. And since he's currently, missing his head, it's finders keepers. Xiao Yu just laughs. A free presidential suite. It's like a gift from the heavens. And Han Kexen, proving her worth right off the bat, grabs the keys to the dead guy's luxury car, hops in the driver's seat, and pulls a perfect, tire-screeching U-turn. Captain, get in. We're going to the hotel. Sao Ran is totally fangirling, calling her the coolest person ever. The trio floors it into the night. A warehouse manager, a secretary, and the Apocalypse King with Jedi mind tricks. The early game grind is officially over. The era of dominance has begun. The squad then rolls up to the Golden Lake Hotel, a 5-star monument to a world that's already gone. It's all marble floors and crystal chandeliers, a crazy sight when you see the city burning right outside. Sao Ran's eyes are practically bugging out of her head. She's never seen this kind of luxury, especially not after the world went down the toilet. Our boy, Xiao Yu, acting like the CEO of Armageddon, calmly starts assigning rooms. He gives the massive master bedroom to the girls and takes the smaller guest room for himself. No ego, man, just 100% practical leadership. Han Kexon, the captain, a total pro, immediately starts running the show at their new spot. She's sorting out all the logistics and making sure the team gets some downtime. Sound is just blown away by her down-to-earth, no BS attitude. A few hours later, when it's pitch black outside, Han Kexon gives him a nudge. Yo, captain. Grubs up. They all get together for some pretty basic chow while she gives him the rundown. The city is under full-on martial law, total lockdown. There are soldiers on every single corner, and their hotel is officially under quarantine. No sweat, he says. The team gets geared up to roll out, but Xian takes one look outside and starts to panic. The main entrance is completely blocked by armored trucks and a squad of seriously armed soldiers. Xiao Yu doesn't even flinch. Don't even worry about it, he says with a smirk. Just follow my lead. As they walk toward the exit, a soldier barks at them. Stop. Martial law. Get back to your rooms. Our guy's face goes completely stone cold. I'm sent from the top, he says, with this vibe that just screams authority. He lifts his hand with this super subtle move. Boom, Jedi mind trick activated. The soldier's eyes just glaze right over. He turns to his buddies and says, it's their leader, sent from upstairs. Let them pass. Another guard mumbles, what's their clearance level? The charmed soldier just snaps back. That's classified, don't ask questions. And just like that, the three of them stroll right through the checkpoint. Turns out mind control is the ultimate all-access pass. Once they're in the clear, Xian just starts laughing, totally in disbelief. Dude, since when were we sent from above? Saw you just grins. I'll fill you in later. Han Kexon hops behind the wheel, and they tear off through the eerily quiet, militarized streets. Xia Ran checks the GPS. Captain, are we seriously heading to the slaughterhouse? You know it, he confirms. We're hitting it tonight. Fresh meat is worth more than gold right now, and our warehouse can keep it good forever. I mean, the man's logic is pretty solid. While everyone else is hiding out, he's playing the long game for his supply of steaks. They cruise right past another checkpoint. This time, the soldiers don't even give them a second look, probably figuring there's some high-level Black Ops crew. That psychic mojo is still paying off. They finally arrive at the shining slaughterhouse. It's this huge, fortified place with its own private security force. The first guard starts yelling at them to stop, demanding to see ID and some special permits. Two more guards back him up, and they're definitely not playing nice. If you don't have clearance, you need to get lost. Saw's mind is racing, trying to figure out the play. Before anyone can even react, one of the guards he charms suddenly smashes his forehead right into his buddy's face. You can see this crazy violet light flash in the captain's eyes. With just a tiny psychic push, she sends the other two guards stumbling right into each other. You hear a loud crack as their skulls connect, and they drop like a couple of sacks of potatoes. More guards come running to see what the commotion is, but she treats them like bowling pins. She takes every single one of them down with this cold, calculated efficiency. She just leaves a whole pile of sleeping security guards on the ground. Xiao Yu gives her a little nod, like, not bad. The woman's a silent but deadly weapon. She just calmly says, from now on, leave the small fry to me. Xiao Ran is totally fangirling over it, just going on about how amazing she is. As soon as they step inside the slaughterhouse, it's like walking into a freezer. So San gets a little too pumped and makes a beeline for the main freezer door, but Xiao Yu steps in. Whoa there, Elsa. Remember what happened last time? You nearly became a human sickle. Go get some warm gear on first. She just nods, looking a bit sheepish. While that's happening, Han Kexon takes her spot as the lookout. The moment they finally get that big door open, man, it's a sight to behold. We're talking racks on racks of prime meat, glistening under the frosty lights. San's eyes just about pop out of her head. We're rich, she squeals. But our guy, Xiao Yu, is already playing 10 moves ahead. He tells her she's thinking too small. Hey, this is just the first stop. We're hitting 8 of these slaughterhouses before sunrise. San couldn't care less, though. She's in absolute foodie heaven. She's bouncing around, naming all the different cuts of pork like a pro chef on TV, already daydreaming about barbecue and braised ribs. Internally, Xiao Yu officially nicknames her the foodie as they start loading everything into their pocket dimension. Just as they're catching their breath, a nasty, guttural roar cuts through the silence. One of the guards they knocked out is stumbling to his feet. Except, he's not really a guard anymore. His skin's gone all gray. His eyes are milky white, and his veins are bulging. He's turned. The infection is hitting the fast-forward button. Even the unconscious aren't safe now. The zombie lunges right for Han Kexon, but she doesn't even flinch. Her eyes flare up with psychic power. She zaps it with a mental charm right in the middle of its attack. It just freezes solid, right in its tracks. The thing starts twitching, all confused, like a prisoner in its own body. Then, in a super creepy twist, its own hand snatches a butcher's knife from a nearby table. It lifts the knife high over its head and plunges it straight through its own skull. It drops to the floor, dead for good this time. A heavy silence fills the room. The team's coordination is absolutely flawless, but this changes the whole game. The T-virus is leveling up way faster than anyone could have guessed. Every person they meet from now on is a potential ticking time bomb. The slaughterhouse is now clear, but Xiao Yu's brain is already crunching the numbers on the next problem. He's watching Han Kexin, totally impressed by her mind control game. But then a cold, strategic thought hits him. What if she ever decides to use that on me? He quickly remembers the system's one big rule. If he dies, the whole squad loses their powers. That's his insurance policy. But in the apocalypse, you don't take risks. So, he calls her over and just drops the bomb. Use your mental charm on me. She's completely shocked. Captain, that's not exactly appropriate. But he insists. He needs solid proof. She finally gives in, her eyes flaring up with that psychic energy. All right, you asked for it. She unleashes the full force of her will, commanding him to jump. And our boy, he doesn't even blink. He just stands there. He's like a statue, completely unmoved. She's pouring every last bit of her power into it, sweat beading on her forehead, but it's like trying to push over a mountain. Absolutely nothing. Xiao Yu grins, satisfied. The test is officially over. His quadruple amplified stats and iron will make him completely immune. There's no doubt who's the real king of this squad. With that settled, it's back to business. But just as they're about to bounce, the cops roll up. A full squad, guns drawn, shouting, "Freeze!" Xiao Yu raises his hands, cool as a cucumber. He's as calm as ever, saying they're just there on business. It's the perfect distraction. Han Kexin's eyes start to glow, and she hits the lead officer with a psychic command. The guy's face just goes completely deadpan. Next thing you know, he's on the horn, spinning this wild tale about some mysterious disturbance and making sure our crew is totally in the clear. And get this, he even flags their ride as an official vehicle, giving them an all-access pass to blow past any checkpoint. Boom. Just like that, the cops are basically their personal Uber drivers. They peel out, and the main event kicks off. We're talking an all-night, citywide meat run of epic proportions. They're hitting one slaughterhouse after another. Dong, Xing, Wanhun, Peggy, the whole squad is just cleaning these places out. Cao Ran is living his best life, basically playing grocery store sweep in a cheat code dimension, cramming it full of pork, beef, and mutton. By dawn, they run the numbers. We're talking 550 tons of pork, 120 tons of beef, and 45 tons of mutton. Cao Ran is absolutely buzzing. Meanwhile, Xiao Yu just kicks back, looking like a king on his throne, taking it all in. Man, this isn't just a big score. This is the cornerstone of their new empire. In a single night, they've locked down the first serious bag of the apocalypse. A literal mountain of meat that's going to make them the undisputed kings of the wasteland. You love to see the hustle pay off. Our guy Xiao Yu just executed the G.O.A.T. of all apocalyptic meat heists. But he's not even celebrating yet. His mind's already on the next level. 700 tons of meat? Nah, that's just a start. He's thinking bigger, more crew, a legit home base, a whole-ass safe zone. This dude is out here building an empire while everyone else is playing real-life Pac-Man, trying not to get chomped. But back at the Golden Lake Hotel, it's a totally different scene. The city might be on fire, but inside, it's all 5-star luxury. Xiaowen is just chilling, living her best life in a nice, hot bath. And Han Kexin is on her game as usual, warming up some buns like a culinary expert. Then, Xiaowen calls for the captain. He strolls in and just stops dead. My man is now facing his ultimate boss battle. Both ladies are there in bathrobes, hair all damp, skin all rosy from the steam. And for one beautiful, shining moment, the totally cool, calm, and collected Apocalypse King is officially shook. You can just see his composure starting to crack. He literally has to turn away and give himself a little mental pep talk. Focus up, dude. Mission over everything. He clears his throat, mumbling to himself that the good life is coming. He just has to pass this very difficult pop quiz. And even when a super cheerful and totally clueless Xiaowen waves him over, his iron will doesn't break. The Sigma grind set stays locked in, even when you're in a 5-star hotel suite. All right, let's cut over to the S-City Command Center, where it's absolute chaos. The suits in charge are finally getting the memo about how royally screwed they are. The virus? Yeah, it just dropped a new update. Now it can bring back the recently deceased. One little bite, and it sets off a chain reaction you can't stop. They even called for backup from another city, and that already went south. So, the governor is losing his mind, ordering total lockdowns. But then, the strangest report you've ever heard comes across his desk. 10 major slaughterhouses have been picked completely clean. Over 700 tons of meat just vanished. No trucks, no tire tracks, nothing. The security footage is spotless. It's like a ghost operation. The governor is demanding to know who's behind this. His aide tells him the people responsible are flagged as classified at a security level so high that even he can't pull the file. And apparently, they're shacked up at the Golden Lake Hotel. But when he tries to poke around, the trail goes completely cold. Any guards who might have seen something, they all had very convenient car accidents or ended up with mystery concussions that left them unable to speak. Total coincidence, I'm sure. So, that whole investigation? Yeah, it was pretty much dead on arrival. The governor, totally fuming but defeated, has to scrap it and focus on his city, which is basically turning into a dumpster fire. Our crew has officially given the government the slip. Back at the hotel, Xiao Yu sleeps in, then knocks out a quick workout to shake off that groggy feeling. Then, he figures it's time to get the squad up and moving. He knocks on the girl's door, and a very sleepy Han Kexon answers. Next to her, Xiaowen is still completely passed out. She's mumbling something about meat buns and snoring like a chainsaw. Han Kexon kind of panics and gives her a shake. Xiaowen just whines, "Hey, I'm hurt. And where are my buns?" Our guy Xiao Yu just can't even deal with it. He just turns and bails, yelling over his shoulder for them to hurry up while he goes to wash his face, his ears turning bright red. The whole city's going to heck outside. But in their suite, it's this moment of almost normal peace. Like the quiet deep breath you take before the night hits and the game is on again. The king and his queens are just getting warmed up. That chill vibe at the Jinu Hotel? Yeah, that's over. Totally nuked. The doorbell rings, and the mood in the room goes from 0 to 100 real quick. Han Kexon looks through the peephole and just completely freezes up. It's a whole team of guys in suits with stone-cold faces, looking more serious than an IRS audit. She gives Xiao Yu that what the heck do we do now? Look, but the man just gives a calm nod. Open it. And who strolls in? The big man himself, Governor Guovihu, with his whole entourage of wannabe Secret Service agents. The dude's being polite, but you can smell an interrogation coming from a mile away. He says he's there to see the special agents. But Xiao Yu, man, he instantly flips his switch and goes into full-on 5-star concierge mode. He's welcoming them in, serving tea like he moonlights as a diplomat. What a total legend. The governor parks himself across from Xiao Yu, giving him a head-to-toe scan. He's taking in how young he is, the chill posture, that quiet, I'm the main character energy. Then he drops the million-dollar question. Everyone's dying to know. Who are you, really? And who's footing the bill for all this? But Xiao Yu just keeps that faint smile. Not a single crack in his cool. Inside his head, though, he's running all the plays. Bailing or lying just screams guilty. The only option is to take total, absolute control. So, he decides right then and there to end this whole debate permanently. Without changing his expression one bit, he flips the switch on his mental suggestion powers. It's like this invisible wave hits the governor's brain, bending his reality like the heat haze off summer pavement. A second later, Xiao Yu is casually holding up a perfectly pristine, high-level National Security Bureau ID. The classification, the rank, the codes, it's so flawless, it practically screams, "You're not cleared for this." Any doubt the governor had just evaporates. That 555 level clearance is radiating more authority than the dang presidential seal. His whole demeanor does a complete 180. Now it's all respect, a touch of fear, and an instant apology for the misunderstanding. Han Kexon and Xiaowen are just standing there, trying not to bust out laughing. They're just watching in silent awe as Xiao Yu's ridiculously bold lie works with scary good precision. And with that little illusion locked in, Xiao Yu pulls a little sleight of hand, makes the ID vanish, and leans in with this look of pure confidence. He tells the governor he's way deep in the slaughterhouse investigation and needs a pass to get around freely. With that charm working its magic, the governor folds faster than a cheap lawn chair and issues an all-access National Security Bureau pass with the highest clearance level. Xiao Yu pockets it with a smirk. This little piece of plastic just turned the whole city into his personal open-world game map. A few hours later, their car is crawling through the super tense streets of S-City. You've got military convoys rumbling past and checkpoints popping up more often than a new streaming service. Soldiers are walking patrol with rifles, looking ready for a party that absolutely nobody wanted an invite to. Han Kexon points out the crazy security, but Xiao Yu already knows the deal. The virus is mutating like crazy, and the city is basically on life support. But that's not stopping the grind. They pull up to another massive frozen goods warehouse. And this is where Xiao Yu turns the whole op into a speedrun. He uses his psychic powers to mind control 2 guards and makes them shoot out every single surveillance camera with perfect accuracy. Other guards charge and yelling, but they trip over nothing and faceplant right on the concrete before being taken down. In just a few seconds, The whole place is on lockdown. Xiao Yu lets out a cool breath and starts calling the play. He tells Xia Ran to stuff 3 whole refrigerated trucks into her spatial warehouse while he goes on a weapon collecting spree. He gets to work, feeling the nerves but also the confidence as he starts stacking up the hardware. Xiao Yu then hands Xia Ran a gun. His voice is totally steady as he tells her it's time she learned how to use one. But before she can even process that, screams echo from the warehouse entrance. A bunch of workers stumble in. They're shouting the 2 words that just flip the script: zombies. They've already turned 2 people into walking Happy Meals. The infection has officially arrived. Han Kexen's gasp is barely audible before Xiao Yu's face turns to stone. He pulls his weapon, kicks open the heavy freezer doors, and just yells for them to follow. The air inside is freezing cold, thick with this awful sense of dread and the unmistakable sound of dragging footsteps. What started as a smooth heist just turned into a survival horror game in a giant freezer. The silence in that warehouse got absolutely deleted. Workers are screaming and scattering as a fresh batch of zombies lurches inside. Their movements are clumsy, but they are 100% deadly. Xiao Yu's eyes lock on. It's the T-Virus, the deluxe edition that turns the recently deceased into your worst nightmare. No time for a huddle. He barks the order to engage, and, channeling his inner hero, he grabs an axe and buries it deep in a zombie's skull. And then it gets stuck. He can't pull it free. Classic rookie mistake. But our guy doesn't even blink as another zombie shambles toward him. He sends it flying with a seriously devastating kick. Then he pulls an assault rifle from his inventory, chambers around with a cold, hard clack, and lets loose a controlled burst. Pop, pop, pop. Each bullet punches through a rotting skull with surgical precision until the last body hits the floor. His mind is ice cold, just filing away the data like a supercomputer. All right, so it turns out that having the biggest guns is still the meta in a zombie apocalypse. Han Kexen, though, is looking a little queasy at the, aftermath. She admits she'd rather trick the zombies into fighting each other than actually be the one to do the dirty work. Xiao Yu just tells her, hey, you'll get used to it. Adapting isn't really optional here. With the last walker down, Han Kexen frees her axe, and Xiao Yu gets them back on track. Xiao Ran opens up her personal pocket dimension, talk about a storage upgrade, and just starts hoovering up all the goods. We're talking pork, beef, chicken, until over 8,000 tons of frozen meat just vanishes into thin air. She's totally exhausted but grinning like she just won the end-of-the-world lottery. As they drive away, Xiao Yu's eyes are glued to the city skyline, which is now rocking a new, smoky look. He already knows how this movie ends. In his first go-around, S-City managed to hold out for 6 days, but his little new game plus stunt has basically put the timeline on fast forward. He figures they've got 3, maybe 4 days tops, before this whole place goes belly up. If they wait for the city to fall, the officials hightailing it out of there will grab everything that isn't nailed down. So his plan is pretty simple. Hit every major supply depot before the party's over. Overhead, the sky is buzzing with aircraft as paratroopers drop onto the buildings. It's a last-ditch Hail Mary from the government, but Xiao Yu knows it's just delaying the inevitable. He tells the team to keep rolling, right until he spots an abandoned armored personnel carrier on the side of the road. He has Han Kexen pull up next to the beast. The APC is caked in old blood, telling a silent story about a crew that definitely did not have a good day. But Xiao Ran's eyes light up like it's Christmas morning. She's immediately asking if they can take it, calling dibs since it's ownerless. Our guy just smirks at her complete lack of shame. You gotta respect the hustle. This thing's heavy armor makes it a perfect mobile base. With a single command, Xiao Ran just sucks the entire war machine into her pocket dimension. It's absolutely unhinged. As they get ready to hit the road again, Xiao Ran stomps her foot and puts on a full pout, whining that she wanted to be the one to claim something that cool. Xiao Yu just laughs, promising she can have the next big prize. Their banter is this strange, cheerful little bubble in the middle of all the chaos and decay, because outside, the city is literally rotting away. Flames and sirens are painting a pretty clear picture of the end times, but inside their ride, this small, focused crew is already planning their next score, ready to strip this city clean before the final curtain call. Meanwhile, back at the S-City Emergency Command Center, things had gone from chaotic to a full-blown dumpster fire. The main screen was lit up like a morbid scoreboard, flashing casualty numbers from all over the city. Over 6,000 confirmed dead, and the counter was going up faster than a streamer's view count when the bots kick in. Governor Gui Hui was just standing there, with a look on his face that just screamed, "We are so incredibly screwed." He finally just said the quiet part out loud. The city was finished. The real problem was the incubation period. The guy standing right next to you could be a zombie in waiting. Trusting people was officially off the table. Then an officer rushes in, rambling about reinforcements from the Ministry of Defense, and for just a second, a tiny spark of hope lights up in Governor Guo's eyes. Then he got the number, 1,000 soldiers. Just 1,000. The whole ministry was stretched thinner than that cheap, single-ply toilet paper across the entire country. Gorgeous just slumped against the table, muttering that they'd hold out for one more day. It sounded less like a command and more like he was praying to the high heavens. He then laid out the final, desperate game plan. If they can't get this outbreak under control by tomorrow night, they're pulling the plug. The government is going to raid all the remaining cold storage and grain supplies, round up whatever's left of the army, and just peace out. They're ditching 800,000 civilians, lifting the lockdown just so people can scatter and become zombie chow outside the city. His officer looked hesitant, but Gorgeous just waved him off, asking for only two things: his family, brought to him in a helicopter that's on standby. Then, he was alone. He stared out the window at the dark city skyline. But, plot twist, he wasn't really alone. Behind him, his assistant started twitching, and a low growl rumbled up from his throat. By the time Guo whipped around, his face went from what the heck to pure, unfiltered horror. The assistant's body was contorting like something out of a horror movie, turning into a monster. The thing lunged. Guo screamed for his guards. The doors burst open and Guo just yelled for them to light it up. The sound of gunfire then absolutely tore the room to shreds. The newly turned assistant convulsed under a storm of bullets before finally slumping to the floor. Guo, gasping for air, just ordered the body to be dragged away. The other officer just stood there, pale and completely silent. If the virus could get into the governor's inner circle, his literal safe space, then nowhere was safe. The chain of command wasn't protection anymore. It was a ticking clock. Meanwhile, in some random high-rise apartment, the apocalypse was getting way more personal. A girl named Anna was just blowing up her parents' phone, her hands shaking with every ring that went to voicemail. And then she heard a faint growl from behind the bathroom door. The handle started to jiggle, then came the scratching, then the sound of splintering wood. She froze. Her roommate, Wangu, had turned. A nasty smell filled the room as a pale, blood-smeared arm punched right through the door, clawing at nothing. Anna scrambled back onto her bed, her eyes darting between the front door and the exploding bathroom door. She was completely boxed in. The exit was right next to the monster's new all-you-can-eat buffet. Her mind was just racing. Stay put and become an appetizer? Or make a run for it and probably get caught? She spun around to look at the window. The 30th floor. A one-way ticket to becoming a sidewalk pancake. She was stuck between getting infected and going splat. All she could do was whisper desperate pleases into a world that had clearly logged off. Down below, the city kept burning. From the top dogs and the government to a single apartment, the virus had shattered every last illusion of safety. Civilization wasn't ending with a huge bang. It was rotting from the inside out, one terrified heartbeat at a time. Back in the trashed apartment, Anna's personal nightmare just hit the final boss level. The bathroom door finally gave way, splintering everywhere as the infected Wangu stumbled out, leaving nasty, bloody smears on the floor with every clumsy step. Anna felt her heart trying to pull a prison break right out of her chest. She wedged herself into the dark corner of a bedroom closet, trying to see through a tiny crack. She watched that thing shamble around, its deep, nasty moans just filling the air like some kind of terrible death metal track. Seriously, every breath she took felt like she was blowing a vuvuzela in her own ears. Her hands were shaking as she searched her pockets for her phone, and then, that sinking feeling. She'd left it on the couch. Game over, man. Pure, uncut despair hit her. Opening that door was a one-way ticket to becoming a snack. No calling for help, no way out. All she could do was bite her lip and pray the creature didn't have super hearing and lock onto her heart, which was currently trying to beat its way out of her chest. Meanwhile, across the burning city, in the super plush presidential suite of the Jinho Hotel, our man Cao Yu was already a solid 2 hours into a serious power nap. His body was back online, but his brain was already planning the next big move. Night was falling, and the city outside was doing a pretty terrible job of pretending everything was okay. He wolfed down some food, glancing over at Xiao Ran and Han Kexin, who were still completely passed out next to him. Man, they had really pushed it to the limit. They needed the sleep, but then, crash. You can't mistake that sound glass just exploding. His head whipped toward the hallway. He told Kexin to keep an eye on Xiao Ran and stepped out to see what fresh new disaster had just been delivered. The hallway looked like the aftermath of a Black Friday sale, gone horribly wrong. A small crew of zombies was enjoying a little buffet on the hotel guests, ripping into them with these wet, absolutely disgusting sounds. One girl, trapped and trembling, made eye contact with Xiao Yu. Her voice was just a broken whisper as she begged for the only thing she had left to hope for, a quick end. "Please, kill me," she cried. He could see the zombies were playing with their food, eating just enough to keep her alive, to feel every single second of it. Yeah, no hesitation there. He brought up his rifle and gave her a clean, merciful checkout with a single shot. Of course, that gunshot was basically a dinner bell for every single zombie in the building. The entire group turned to face him, their growls getting deeper, like a hungry choir warming up. Behind him, Kexin yelled a warning, and a wide-eyed Xiao Ran peeked out from the doorway. But Xiao Yu? Nah, he wasn't backing down. As the first zombie made its move, he stepped right into it, his axe swinging in a beautiful, deadly arc that split rotting heads like they were mushy watermelons. His upgraded strength was really making this look easy. Zombies just started dropping left and right until the whole hallway was basically a gruesome welcome mat. Standing there in the middle of all that mess, breathing steady, he had a moment of clarity, thinking, man, I've really leveled up. This whole apocalypse thing had turned survival into a gut feeling, and being merciful was now a strategic decision and death. Just another Tuesday, Xiao Yu told the girls to walk it off and get moving. Time was a-wastin'. Their ride tore through the city, with a custom soundtrack of distant explosions and the heavy thump-thump of machine gun fire. You gotta hand it to the army, they were putting up a heck of a fight, but you could tell they were on the losing side of this thing. The navigation screen popped up with the next objective, a gold storage facility. Our guy told his wiped-out crew to conserve their energy, stay alert, and hit the sack the second they felt that exhaustion creeping in. The highway just rolled out in front of them, a lone sign flashing the distance to Beijing, a chilly reminder that safety was still a long, long way down the road. A long, long way off. Hours later, they were finally wrapping things up at this massive cold storage facility. Xiao Yu was doing the math in his head. We're talking over 14,000 tons of meat, plus thousands more tons of veggies, fruit, and eggs. A legit treasure trove of supplies, but you could see the exhaustion on their faces. 15 straight hours of non-stop work. Off in the distance, the constant rat, a tad of machine guns, and the boom of grenades was all the confirmation they needed. The T-virus situation was going downhill fast. By the time they finally made it back to the Jinhu Hotel at dawn, they were completely running on empty. Xiao Yu gave the order. Everybody get cleaned up. Then it was lights out. That satisfying click of the door locking was their little bubble of temporary safety. Right next door, Anna heard that lock engage. She's still trapped in her dark closet, and a whole new wave of hopelessness washed over her. They were out there moving around freely, while she was a prisoner in her own apartment, starving, dehydrated, and about to have a serious accident. All those hours of pure terror had completely shredded her nerves. Finally, a trembling little whisper escaped her lips, basically just praying to the empty room for anyone, literally anyone, to save her. By late afternoon, Xiao Yu was up from a power nap, and Shaolin called him over to the window. Down below, a whole convoy of military trucks was just rolling on through. Han Kexin was catching up on the news, which said civilians were already busting through the barricades. Well, so much for the lockdown. Chaos had officially arrived, and it was ahead of schedule. Xiao Yu made the call. Secure the food first, then they'd figure out if they were bailing on S-City for good. Through the wall, Anna could hear bits and pieces of his voice. She started to panic. If they left, she was done for. That was her last and only chance for rescue. She'd been hoping they would hear Wong's growling, but the non-stop gunfire outside drowned everything out. At this point, the hunger, the fear, and a bladder that was about to file a formal complaint finally broke her. When she heard their door creak open, her brain screamed, "They're leaving," and survival mode just took over. With shaking hands, she shoved the closet door open. The sound of running water from the bathroom told her the infected thing was in there. This was her one shot. Her heart was hammering against her ribs as she bolted out, snatched a heavy blanket from the bed, and made a dead sprint for the exit. But just as she got to the door, the bathroom door flew open, and the zombie lunged out with a wild roar. But Anna didn't freeze up. She spun on her heel, threw the blanket square over its head, tangling the thing up, and got the heck out of that room. She then let out a raw, terrified scream, yelling for help with everything she had left. So yeah, our girl Anna is having one heck of a day, trapped in her own place with a hangry zombie for 24 hours. She's not just running for her life, though. She's practically a pro now, having already managed to blind the creature with a pretty slick trap. But a blind zombie is still a zombie, and right now, it's turning her apartment into a deadly obstacle course. Next door, our crew hears all the commotion. They hear Anna's frantic screams, telling them to run and hide. But Xiao, he just peeks through the door, cool as anything. His only thought was, so, I wasn't just hearing things. There really is a zombie next door. Then he drops a total logic bomb. Hey, why are you running? This zombie is already blind. The man is breaking down the situation like it's a game of chess, not a complete horror show, and you can tell he's genuinely impressed. All right, after surviving a whole day with that thing, the new girl, Anna, proves she's got a good head on her shoulders. Her first move? Call in the heavy hitters they brought along for the ride. A totally solid and normal plan, right? But then Han Kexen steps up, ready to flex her new mind-bending powers. Xiao Yu immediately shuts that down, though. Nope, think of the cleanup. It'll get messy. My man is already thinking about property values in the middle of an apocalypse. His genius solution: let the zombie just yeet itself off the balcony. Anna is just staring at them like they've lost their minds. You can just see her thinking she's stumbled into a straight-up clown show. Make the zombie jump? Did she take a knock to the head? But then, Han Kexen goes full Professor X and activates her mental charm. Her eyes start to glow, and then the impossible actually happens. The zombie just stops, turns around, and obediently shuffles toward the busted window on the 30th floor. You could practically hear Anna's brain rebooting. All she can do is watch with her jaw on the floor as the zombie takes a graceful swan dive into the open air. Whoosh! Boom! Problem solved. No mess, no fuss. Anna is just left completely and utterly shook. She's staring at this crew like they're actual gods who can just tell reality what to do. And Xiao Yu, he's just checking her out, thinking, this woman. She's an absolute 10, too. But ever the team leader, he gets right down to business. So, what was your 9 to 5 before all this? She stammers out that she was a dealer over at the hotel casino. His eyes just light up now. That's a rare character class. That's exactly the kind of unique spec his system loves. He immediately pulls up his team interface. The system scans her and, jackpot, a 96 overall rating. Anna is officially on the professional goddess squad, and her sign-on bonus is